Okay, good afternoon. I'm Nick Harney, Dean of Social Science. New graduates, families and friends, faculty and staff colleagues, I welcome you today to the Gold Medal and Chancellor Ceremony. I'd like to welcome you today to this ceremony. It's a very special day. It's nice for us to all be together finally after a very trying couple of years. This is a special event for us because it celebrates the outstanding performance of the Gold Medal and Chancellor Prize winners in social science. To all of you who are medal recipients, I want you to know that we take great pride in what each of you has achieved, and we're delighted that we're able to celebrate with you today. Please feel free to take photographs throughout the ceremony. University gold medals are presented to those students who have achieved the highest modular average in a specific program. They've been placed on the Dean's Honors List, and many have graduated today with distinction. First, we will present the gold medals to students in programs offered in the Faculty of Social Science, and then we'll present the Chancellor's Prizes for the highest overall average achieved by a student in each of the bachelor and honors programs we offer across the faculty. So I'll turn now to the university gold medals in the programs in social science. We'll start with the Department of Anthropology, and Professor Andrew Walsh of that department will present 2 gold medals today in anthropology. The first one to Sydney Dawson, who will receive a gold medal for the honors specialization in anthropology. Andrew?
Oh, good, that works. So one of the best parts of being undergraduate chair in an academic department is that you get to participate in events like this where we get to celebrate really amazing students, and not just for those students, but for their friends and family, which is what we're doing here. And I'm going to guess that friends and family of Sydney and Alexandra, who I'll be talking about as well here, after 4 years of listening to them talk about anthropology, you still may not be sure what anthropology is. That's okay. I'll just say for now, by saying that knowing a little about Sydney and Alexandra, if they're good at it, which they are, and if they found something special in it, it's pretty great. Sydney, I'll start with you. It's been a real pleasure to get to know you over the past few years, even when it involved meeting over Zoom through the early months of the pandemic to discuss what we might do better to manage our transition to online teaching. You've been such an important contributor to the department in so many ways, as co-president of the Anthropology Society, as a research intern on a number of faculty-led projects, and as a dedicated participant in all of your classes. I'll never forget that when asked to submit a 3,000 to 4,000 word final project in a course you took with me last year, you produced something more than double that length, which would have been cause for complaint if you hadn't have submitted it well ahead of the deadline, and if it hadn't have been so good. I hope by now you don't need to hear it from me, but I'll say it anywhere. You've always got a home with us here at Western. Do you want me to go into the second one?
Sure, I apologize, I didn't say the second name, so
Oh,
this is
that's
for
okay.
Alexandra Mintha. Go ahead.
So Alexandra, by completing a double major in anthropology and sociology, you are now extremely well qualified to analyze and reflect critically on any social situation. So it's a good thing because I'm about to embarrass you with some comments from one of your biggest fans, Dr. Randa Farah, who wasn't able to make it here today. Randa asked me to let everyone here know that Alexandra is outstanding in more than one way. Of course, as you'd expect, she always took her work seriously, was committed to her classes, and submitted assignments that reflected a willingness to do research and think outside the box. But Alexandra is also clearly driven, passionate, and inclined to reflect deeply on issues that really matter in the world. Alexandra, Randa asked me to tell you that the questions you're asking are important, not just because the issues you're hoping to understand by asking and answering these questions are important, but because these are the kinds of questions that will shape your future. Now, I'll end anthropology's part of this by guessing that Sydney and Alexandra's families and friends might be wondering where a degree in anthropology might lead them. I suspect Sydney and Alexandra are wondering the same thing. I wish I could put your minds at ease. All I can say, knowing what I do about anthropology and about Sydney and Alexandra, is that I really can't wait to see what they end up doing with and beyond what they've done with us here at Western. I'm sure it's going to be great. So please keep in touch. Thanks.
Oh.
Okay, so Sydney, do you want to come?
So Sydney and Mintha, can you please come up? Go to Andrew. Okay, thank you, Andrew, and thank you, Sydney and Alexandra. We're going to turn now to the Department of Economics, and the gold medals in the Department of Economics will be presented by Professor Greg Pavlov, the undergraduate program director in economics. And maybe I'll actually call the students up here before you start, if that's okay.
Sure.
This is for the first, as Akash Jain will receive the gold medal for honor specialization in politics, philosophy, and economics concentration. So Akash, if you could please come to the stage. The gold medal honors for a major in economics goes to Mingyu Yao. And could Nicolas Bottger, Malaga, will receive the gold medal for honor specialization in global economics.
Okay. Hello.
We're doing two at once.
Thank you. Okay. First, Akash Jain, I'm very happy to present Gold Medal Award to you for your outstanding academic performance in politics, philosophy, and economics honor specialization program, economics stream. So this is a relatively new, selective, interdisciplinary program. Akash was also in the Scholars Elective program that offers unique interdisciplinary experience for select few high-achieving students. So I have received many comments from our professors. They all emphasize that Akash is a stellar student, not only in terms of his marks, but also in terms of incredible engagement and commitment to studying. So for example, he showed up to most of optional virtual classes and office hours meetings and asked really thoughtful questions, displayed incredible diligence and nuanced thinking. So I myself was fortunate to have Akash in my advanced microeconomics class, and I also was his supervisor for the independent research project on dynamic Bayesian mechanism design during the third year. So this is an advanced topic which typically requires graduate level preparation, but Akash was really enthusiastic and very diligent, and I was very impressed how far we were able to venture into the field, and I have learned quite a bit myself too. So Akash's senior thesis was titled Uncovering the Political, Philosophical and Economic Implications of Immigration Reform, and it was one of the best in the class. In this work, he synthesized the complex and highly nuanced discussions in the area and clarified the importance of competing perspectives on the subject for varying conclusions. So his advisor, L. Slavinsky, in particular emphasized Akash's skills at presenting his work. So he says, his presentations are clear as bell, logical, highly organized. He knows how to transmit a lot of information per unit of time without seeming to talk very fast, and without whizzing through slides so crowded that they are impossible to understand. This is a rare skill in academia, sadly, but particularly one so young. So after his last presentation, I was seriously considered asking him if he would repeat it for our PhD students to watch. Actually, most of my colleagues would have benefited from it. So Akash was also active in many out-of-class activities. In particular, he was co-editor of Western Undergraduate Economics Review, and was on the leading team in the Students' Western Economic Society. After graduation, Akash will be joining the joint program at the Law School and Monk School of Global Affairs and Public Policy at the University of Toronto. Congratulations, Akash, and warm wishes for continued success. Okay, next, I'm honored to present Gold Medal Award to Mingyu Yao for her outstanding academic achievement in honors double major in economics and in finance. So many professors commented on Mingyu's top marks in their courses, and they said that she was bright, well-organized, consistently hardworking, and that they enjoyed having her in their classes. For example, Professor Lisa Tarquinia, who teaches economic development, says, Mingyu was a pleasure to have in a class. What sticks with me the most is how she consistently did more than what was asked of her. Her final paper was titled The Impact of Land Finance Dependence on Urbanization in China. It was well written and portrayed her detailed knowledge on the subject area. I learned a lot about land finance in China while reading it. Professor Mohammed Hussein, who teaches principles of mathematical economics, says, Mingyu attended all Zoom classes, although I kept the attendance optional, and I always saw Mingyu in the waiting room before me. She took notes and participated very well in the classes. The exams were open book, but she prepared, like for the closed book exams, and did extremely well. So Professor Hussein, in addition, emphasized that Mingyu is very kind, respectful, smiling, and has the highest level of integrity. All these are important qualities for future success. Combination of admirable academic achievements and personal characteristics makes Mingyu an ideal student, and he is very proud of you. So Mingyu was accepted to several prestigious Canadian graduate programs in business, finance, and economics. And I'm particularly happy that she has chosen a Master of Economics program at the University of Toronto. Congratulations, Mingyu. My very best wishes in your next career stage, where you will be able to continue to develop your skills and apply your talents. Thank you. Nicolas, Bottger, Malaga. It's a great pleasure to present you this gold medal for outstanding academic achievement in the honor specialization in global economics. So this module is a multidisciplinary module, combines in-depth study of economics with the knowledge needed to understand international issues and the global economy. So I actually got to know Nicolas after his first year. So at the time we were developing a math resource website, and we hired Nicolas and another student to help, and he gave numerous suggestions for improvements. The professor who had Nicolas in their classes mentioned his exceptional enthusiasm, dedication, curiosity, and it was a pleasure to teach him. For example, Professor Lance Lochner, who teaches economics of human behavior, says, Nicolas actively engaged in class discussions, he was enthusiastic, made sound arguments. He also wrote a nice opinion piece on the potential for unintended discriminatory impacts of the use of modern algorithms and prediction models using big data. And Juan Carlos Hachondo, who is teaching international finance, said, Nicolas has a quiet demeanor, but when he participated in class, he was asking unusual and interesting questions. He was one of the few students who would stay after class or come to the office and ask provoking questions. So Nicolas, together with another student, wrote a senior thesis on the impact of increases in digital banking, along with the resulting branch closures on financial inclusion. So they compiled original data from multiple sources in Peru to conduct a study. So the advisors, Professor Sergio Acampo and Odra Bolos, said that it was a challenging topic to study, but you've done very well and produced a great paper. Nicolas, after graduation, will be joining Boston Consulting Group in Toronto. And so I congratulate you, Nicolas, with your academic achievement. All the best at the next stage of your career.
Thank you. Could I ask Professor Jonathan Histon to take the stage, Director of the Commercial Aviation Management Program, and he'll present the next gold medal to Max Erickson. Max, if you could come up, who's awarded the gold medal for achieving the highest average in honor specialization in commercial aviation management.
Thank you very much. And Max is the recipient of the, perfect, thank you, gold medal for geography and commercial aviation management flight, which means he can tell us all about what's happening in the air on the flight and what's happening on the ground we're going over. And I think one of the things that's been so fantastic about teaching Max has been the energy and the playfulness coupled with a fantastic sense of humor and an even greater sense of smarts that he's brought to the commercial aviation management program here at Western. Max is someone who is unafraid to demonstrate backflips. We're not going to ask you for one right now. It was always via Zoom, not in one of our classrooms. But that's the personality that he has brought. And he's equally unafraid to share his flying experiences and perspectives, and whether that was in aviation safety, airport design, human factors, and it was always to everyone's benefit. As a member of Western's cheer squad, Max knows well how to and the power of encouraging others. And I think that's what I really want to leave the impression with here today, is just how uplifting a presence he's been in the classroom, both real world and virtual. The past 2 years, I've had the pleasure of teaching him. Max has a joie de vivre, that joy of living, and much more so than I have the ability to speak French and roll my R's. And as much as today is a recognition of his academic achievements, what I really want to highlight is just how valuable the effect Max has on the people around him. And I really have appreciated that over the past 2 years. So please, join me in congratulating Max on this recognition today of his hard work, impact, and achievements.
Thank you. And now could I ask Professor Chris Rolston of the Department of Gender, Sexuality, and Women's Studies to present the next gold medal to Ashton Pugh, who received the gold medal for the honors major in Gender and Women's Studies.
It's a real pleasure to be presenting the gold medal for Gender, Sexuality, and Women's Studies to Ashton. Ashton has been on the Dean's honor list for her entire undergraduate career. She's the recipient of the Julie Ashford Scholarship in 2021. She took 2 of my gender studies courses, one in her first year and one last year in her final year. And it's during that year that I got to know her as a very brilliant student. Ashton came top of the class of a very strong cohort with a 92% and wrote an excellent final essay on the relationship between social movements and intersectionality. Ashton is not only a very fine writer, but she is also clearly committed to the issues with which she engages. It was always a pleasure to have her insightful contributions in class, and I'm thrilled to hear that Ashton will be continuing as a gender studies master's student next year. That's one option for the future, just stick with us. I just want to give a couple of comments of other instructors that I contacted in the 3rd and 4th year of Ashton's undergraduate career. Dr. Cassie Schuin wrote, "Ashton is an exceptional student and researcher who presents their ideas with great care and eloquence. They persistently approach research with an enthusiastic curiosity that shines through in their impactful writing." Congratulations, Ashton, on this much-deserved accomplishment. And from Georgina Gifford, Ashton was a great student to have. She was one of those students who was able to succinctly tie and relate ideas and concepts together for her peers, while pushing the discussion in a deeper and different direction. I always looked forward to reading her written work and was thrilled to hear that she'll be continuing her studies in graduate school. Academia is lucky to have her and her bright, well-developed, and critical insights. Congratulations, Ashton.
Could I ask Jamie Voot, the Chair of the Department of Geography and Environment, to please come forward and present gold medals, and Naythan Samuda for achieving the highest modular average in the honors specialization in Geographic Information Science, and Benjamin Riggin for achieving the highest modular average in honors major in Geography and Environment.
Thank you. Naythan is our gold medal winner in Geographic Information Science. Within geography, Geographic Information Science, which we call GI-SCI, is the subdiscipline that deals with spatial data, its acquisition, manipulation, storage, and analysis. It incorporates subfields such as remote sensing, so taking images from satellites, cartography, map making, and geographic information sciences, the tools that are used to combine the data. Naythan's built a strong record of performance in GI-SCI that includes not only strong academic marks, but also 2 summers as a summer research intern. In his final year, he extended his summer research work by completing an honors undergraduate thesis in which he examined crop and land cover mapping in northern Malawi, using several different types of satellite imagery. Crop and land cover mapping are very important globally, especially for food-insecure African countries such as Malawi. The use of satellite data greatly improves the mapping accuracy while saving time and labor compared with ground-based methods. Naythan's thesis was able to show that data fusion of different types of optical and radar data were able to improve the land cover classification by almost 40%, a big increase in performance. His supervisor also noted that an important contribution of his thesis was that he was able to actually classify some of the intercrop types. So in this part of the world, they sometimes have crops that are just corn, and sometimes there's peas planted between the corn plants. And as the corn gets higher, it's really hard to see the peas. But Naythan, using multiple satellite imagery types, was able to actually discriminate between these two. So that's pretty advanced analysis for an undergraduate thesis. Beyond his technical prowess, Naythan's also been a member of Undergrad Affairs Committee, where he's provided important student insight to the committee, and he's volunteered for Western Open House events where he shared his experiences with prospective students. So he's given back to the program as well. Naythan is again working as a summer research intern this summer with remote sensing and weed detection in southwestern Ontario, and I understand next fall he's taking his talents to Queens, where he is starting a program in law. Naythan, congratulations and thank you for your service. Benjamin. Benjamin's program combines a major in geography and environment with a minor in history. Benjamin was a student that was a strong student straight out of the gate with consistently strong academic performance over a range of courses. These courses include courses that range from anthropology to history to music, even including a course called Introduction to Jazz. And speaking of jazz, one of Benjamin's geography professors, Professor Jeff Hopkins, provided us with a story in which he recounted Benjamin's presence in his first-year geography course. Quoting, "Benjamin often showed up with a shopping bag full of stuff. I asked him what was in the bag, and he beamed and said, 'Jazz records.' There was a used record sale in the UCC. I knew then and there that this fellow was an independent thinker. I would often converse with Benjamin during breaks in the lecture. I got names of some great jazz musicians from him, and I remain grateful for the tips that he gave me. In that class, and the subsequent class he took with me last fall, he was always punctual, attentive, and willing to answer questions, and better still, to ask them. He's curious, gregarious, and that inquisitive nature and enthusiasm for new ideas and experience add much to the class for me as an instructor, and more importantly, to his peers. I understand he is pursuing a master's degree in environment and sustainability here at Western in the fall. He will most definitely excel. Congratulations, Benjamin."
Nancy, Professor Nancy Roden, Chair of the Department of History. The Robert Laverne Eagleson Gold Medal is awarded to a student graduating in honors history. This award was endowed by Miss Lula Eagleson of Toronto in memory of her brother, who graduated from the university with a gold medal in 1925. This year's recipient is Estella Chen for the honors specialization in history, and it will be awarded by Professor Nancy Roden. Estella?
I'm very pleased to be here to present the award to Estella Chen. Estella is a truly remarkable student. Having switched to a history major in her second year, she quickly established herself as one of the history department's top performers. Professor Allison May tells me that she had the good fortune to teach Estella in 4 half courses in British history, as well as supervising her 4th-year undergraduate thesis. Estella's work was exemplary and her grades outstanding. Criminal justice history became her chief preoccupation, and the thesis she produced on audience participation in trials heard at the Old Bailey in the 18th and 19th centuries is superb. By her 4th year, Professor May tells me, Estella was already researching and writing in a second language at the level of a doctoral student. In October, she begins a master's program at Oxford, where she will continue her study of legal history. We wish Estella every success in her new adventure. We have complete confidence in her. Congratulations on winning the gold medal.
Professor Chantal Richmond. Professor Chantal Richmond is the Acting Director of the Indigenous Studies Program, and she'll present the next gold medal to Bridget Tschanz, and she's awarded for the gold medal for achieving the highest average in honors major in Indigenous Studies. Bridget?
Thank you, Nick. So good afternoon to you all and welcome. The Indigenous Studies program is an interdisciplinary program of studies that examines the history, culture, language, and modern-day realities of Indigenous peoples and communities on Turtle Island, known as North America, and also around the world. Emphasis is placed on theories and concepts, methodologies related to legacies of colonialism, Indigenous knowledge, resurgence, and decolonization. Our goal is to provide our students with an opportunity to listen, to learn, and to engage with matters that are important to Indigenous people, while providing them with the flexibility to combine their program with other undergraduate degrees. This year's gold medal for the major in Indigenous Studies is Bridget Tschanz. A quick scan of Bridget's transcripts revealed 90% or higher in some of our most challenging courses. To our program and to many of our faculty, this is a sign that her passion to make social change is matched with an intellectual acumen required to make that change happen. One of Bridget's professors remarked, "Bridget is an excellent writer and engages carefully, thoughtfully, and deeply with course materials, bridging them between her new learning, her previous courses in Indigenous studies with existing knowledge, and the depth of her own life experiences. Perhaps most importantly, though, Bridget consistently shows up. She shows up online, and she takes great care to complete all of her course materials, including many of those minor weekly discussion posts which a lot of students actually struggle to complete." Having taught Bridget last year and observing the depth of her abilities and passions, I know this to be true. It is students like Bridget who keep our passions alive and keep us moving every single day. So congratulations, Bridget. It's such a pleasure to award this gold medal to you.
Could I ask Bill Dawson to take the stage? And we're turning now to a series of awards for the Dan Department of Management and Organizational Studies. And could I ask Jingyi Wang to come to the stage? The Bohuslav Kimlicka Gold Medal is awarded to the graduating student in Management and Organizational Studies from a stream other than finance, who has the highest overall average. This medal was established in recognition of Professor Kimlicka's contributions to our faculty during his tenure as dean. Professor Bill Dawson will present the gold medal to this year's recipient, Jingyi Wang, Honors Specialization in Accounting.
It's a great pleasure to acknowledge the accomplishment of Jingyi Wang, also known as Jenny, as the winner of the Kimlicka Gold Medal for achieving the highest average in Dan Management Organization Studies, Honors Specialization Accounting. And I see also Honors Specialization, so that and the Kimlicka, so I got both of them in here. I didn't know I had more than one. Jenny was on the Dean's Honor List in each of her 4 years in Dan Management, consistently performing well in her courses. It's my pleasure to have taught her 2 courses during the winter 2022 term, Management Control Systems and Advanced Accounting. What a challenge for a final year in the program. 7 of her 10 courses were online, only 3 were in person. The Zoom courses are challenging for the instructor and for the student in trying to stay focused and motivated in order to perform well and learn life applications to apply to their future education and careers. Jenny was always attentive, i.e. kept her camera on, and was engaged in breakout rooms and chat discussions with a pleasant smile, which you can't see with her mask on, and determination. She achieved her goal. When I asked her what her best memories were from class, she replied, group projects where you learn how to cooperate with group members and organize a team. Now, my course wasn't the one she liked the best. Well done in my courses. To complement group work, Jenny also worked hard to succeed in exams. Jenny is from China, currently considering 2 post-grad offers, one in accounting and finance and the other in global operations. Jenny was a risk advisory intern fall 2021 for Deloitte Enterprise Consulting in Beijing, China, applying her data analytics skills by visualizing closely related industries based upon supply chains. Maybe we now will have a solution to the supply chain issue. Congratulations to Jingyi Wang, a great Dan management representative, as winner of this prestigious award that has been awarded annually since 1980. Well done, Jenny.
Thank you. And Professor Mark Cleveland will present the gold medals in consumer behavior for the DAM program. Could I ask Kaitlyn Manicom and Geneviève Ladouceur to come forward to the stage? Kaitlyn is the gold medal for honors specialization in consumer behavior, and Geneviève receives the gold medal for honors major in consumer behavior.
I was lucky enough to have Kaitlyn in my seminar and consumer research class. Not only did she do exceptionally well at every aspect of the course, she obtained the highest overall grade. This is a highly challenging course that's only offered to the very best students. Every contribution that Kaitlyn made to the discussion was insightful and profound. Her ability to make theoretical connections between abstract concepts was uncommonly good. With all these qualities, I feel that Kaitlyn contributed substantially to the learning of her classmates. Kaitlyn is most deserving of this high honor. I hope that Kaitlyn considers graduate school because I'm confident that she will go on to achieve even greater scholarly triumphs. My colleague, Dr. Scott Connors, had this to say about Kaitlyn. Kaitlyn is clearly a motivated and dedicated student. She always comes to class prepared and ready to lead the discussion. She was never afraid to make connections across the courses or to bring in her own experiences into the conversation. She was a leader in the classroom. Kaitlyn makes everyone around her stronger, as evidenced by her performance on the group projects and on the in-class breakout sessions. My other colleague, Professor John White, had this to say. Kaitlyn was always ready with all accounting analysis. More importantly, she combined this with truly insightful qualitative thoughts in terms of reflecting the theory back onto the cases that we were doing. I'm thinking that Kaitlyn is not just CMO material, she's probably a future CEO. She was always ready with her hand up to contribute, and it was always great stuff. It should be noted that Kaitlyn worked her way through her degree, holding down a part-time job through most of her time here. She is a truly deserving recipient of the gold medal. It is most fitting that Geneviève Ladouceur is the recipient of the Western University Gold Medal. Geneviève excelled at every opportunity in my consumer research seminar class. She always came to class well prepared and ready to engage in the intellectual discourse. In particular, Geneviève was a natural when it came to making presentations of highly technical and challenging academic articles. The research proposal that she co-authored was one of the very best out of a class of brilliant students. Geneviève, I hope that you will consider applying to graduate school because I'm confident that you have what it takes to succeed. My colleague John White had this to say. Geneviève brought both insightful creative thinking to the problems at hand and combined this with solid quantitative analysis. She was a top contributor to the class experience, and that included bringing in some of her own experiences and applying these to the discussion. During her time at Western, she was always very involved, such as her activities as a residence counselor, her work organizing food drives at London Hall, and serving as VP Finance of her sorority. And this is a sorority that also engages in charitable activities. She is a truly deserving award winner, and she is an outstanding ambassador for Dan management. Congratulations.
The Diamond Jubilee Alumni Gold Medal will be presented by Professor Shahbaz Sheikh. It is awarded to the student with the highest overall average in finance. The award was established to commemorate the Diamond Jubilee of the Department of Secretary of Science, and the award this year goes to Tulika Jain for honors specialization in finance. Tulika?
Can you see me? It is my pleasure to present this Golden Jubilee Award in Honor Specialization Gold Medal to Tulika Jain, and it's also a pleasure that she was my student in derivatives course, which is a very complex and quantitative heavy course, and many students find it very difficult to go through that fourth-year course. And I am very, I want to tell you this, that my other colleagues who have taught her the advanced corporate finance and other finance courses, they all had the same across the board observation about her. She's very hardworking, she's dedicated, she's motivated, she has all the ingredients to excel in the world of finance. And given my experience in the last 18 years here, I tell you, she's one of those students which every professor would love to have in their own class, because she's always there. She not only understands the theory perfectly, but she was always there to relate it to the practical problems, what's happening in the financial markets. Every time we had a discussion, she was one of those students who enriched the learning experience inside my class. So it was an honor to have her in my class, and on behalf of myself and my other colleagues in finance, I'm very happy to wish you best of luck, and I'm sure wherever she goes, she's gonna make us proud. Please congratulate her.
Professor Raymond Leduc will present two awards in human resource management. Could I ask Hanyu Fu and Joanna Popova come to the stage? Hanyu Fu is receiving the gold medal for the honors specialization in human resource management, and Joanna Popova is receiving the gold medal for the honors major in human resource management.
Thank you, Dean. So I teach our fourth year capstone course, Strategic Management, and the goal of the course is to pull all the material together that the students have studied over their past 4 years here at Western. And during this past January to April term, I had the privilege of having Hanyu in one of my classes. In my class, I tell students to think of themselves as being in a business meeting, which they're expected to share their ideas, build upon the comments of others, and to help move the analysis forward. There are no marks for just attending. We analyze companies such as Costco, Pepsi, Southwest Airlines, and Ford, and students need to come to class having prepared the material and willing to share their ideas. Hanyu did exactly that in every class, and we all benefited from her ideas, her insights, and her contributions. As we all know, the past 2 years have been a challenge for everyone, and as we're emerging from it, we know that our new normal will not look like what it was before the pandemic started. We will need creative, innovative, motivated employees to help us understand how our workforces will now work and how we will recruit, retain, and develop our employees to help organizations, big and small, succeed. These are exactly the skills Hanyu showed in my class, and thankfully she is planning to further develop in her future studies. Hanyu's area of specialization is in human resource management, and ultimately everything we do, every business success, every opportunity is done through, by, and because of the people we have in our organization. Hanyu's had 2 internships, which were related to recruiting and training, and she was able to identify some of these conflicts and issues that can lead to resignations by employees and the impact to employers. Every day in the news, we hear about how employers cannot find the employees they need to run their businesses, and this is the area where Hanyu will be able to bring her expertise and insight. In order to further her knowledge in the field and broaden and deepen her expertise, she has accepted an offer from the University of Toronto for their Master of Industrial Relations and Human Resources. Congratulations. Hanyu's plans after her graduate work are to focus on consulting and strategic planning and labor relations and human resource management studies. These are areas that will be critical to the success of every organization, and her skills will be in great demand. It was a privilege to have you in my class, and I wish you all the best as you move forward in your studies and your career. Just a minute. Purple and proud. There you go. As I mentioned, I teach our capstone strategic management course, and as we said, the course is designed to pull everything together. And not only do we draw upon the material in the course, it's important that students be aware of what's going on outside of the classroom in the real world, and that we are able to integrate that into our work as well. After all, they will be spending the rest of their professional and personal lives in the real world. During this past January to April, Joanna was one of the students I had in my class who did exactly that. My course is not just a read and repeat course where students have to memorize facts and formulas and repeat them on an exam. Everybody today has access to unlimited facts, so knowing these facts is not enough. We need to not only know the facts we are studying, but the implications of those facts and the recommendations that can be best supported by those. Having employees who can do that is exactly what organizations need, and this is exactly what Joanna did in every class. Joanna's undergraduate degree here at Western was a double major in history and human resource management, and this is a powerful combination that not only shows her interest in preparing for the future, but also her awareness that we can learn from the past. While at Western, she served as assistant editor of the history journal The Mirror. This allowed her to further develop and pursue her interest in history, as well as see a wide range of different perspectives and ideas. One particular area of Joanna's background that is of special interest to me is that her first language is not English. She is a second-generation Canadian born to a Bulgarian family and learned English as her second language. Our program is blessed to have students from a wide range of backgrounds and experiences, and I am always very, very impressed with any student who can study and succeed in a language that is not their first. In terms of her immediate future plans, Joanna will be starting law school at Queen's University this September and will be graduating as a JD candidate by 2025. Joanna is a great example of what we have to have as a country and what we need as well. Smart, hardworking, intellectually curious individuals with a wide range of professional and personal interests. It was a privilege to have you in my class, Joanna, and I know we all benefited from your insights, analysis, and contributions. Congratulations.
Professor Philip King will present the next gold medal to Jiwa Zhang. It's the award for the gold medal for achieving the highest average in honors specialization in management and legal studies.
Thank you. It is my privilege to award the gold medal for honors specialization in management and legal studies to Jiwa Zhang. I hope I'm not butchering that too bad. Now, do you like Jiwa or Heinrich? Henrik. Okay. Way easier for me. Heinrich was in 3 of my courses, poor lad, and he achieved outstanding grades in all 3 courses: Introduction to Business Law, Contract Law, and Employment Law. Henrik demonstrated a strong ability to think critically, which I think is the most important aspect of dealing with complex legal issues. Henrik also showed excellent communication skills and was always very personable, which I can tell you as instructors, we always appreciate. Professor Heider told me that Henrik was one of the best students in his ethics class this year. In addition to doing very well grade-wise in the course, Henrik consistently shared interesting and valuable insights with the class. He was always respectful of other people's views, which is something else I can tell you we sincerely appreciate. And he demonstrated strong leadership skills throughout the course. Henrik did a fantastic job in all aspects of the strategic management course that Professor Leduc teaches, especially in terms of day-to-day participation. Henrik prepared for every class ahead of time, which is, as Professor Leduc explained, mandatory in order to succeed in the course, understood the material, and contributed in a meaningful way to class discussions. Professor Leduc told me that Henrik is the kind of student he would like to have in all his classes. Professor Petrin said that Henrik had the highest grade in his corporate governance course. He had a perfect attendance record, was always engaged, and again contributed frequently to class discussions. I'm talking about someone who is confident and articulate and eager to participate. Henrik's organizational skills, his ability to communicate effectively, his work ethic, and his friendly demeanor, and as I say, his ability to think critically are exactly the characteristics that employers are looking for in a job candidate. More importantly, these are the characteristics that will allow Henrik to make a positive contribution to our community and to make the world a better place for all of us. If we're going to tackle our biggest issues, we need our brightest minds and our hardest workers, and Henrik is a perfect example of that. Congratulations, Henrik.
Okay, Professor Jonathan Histon, the Director of Commercial Aviation Management, will present the final gold medal for the Department of Management and Organizational Studies to Eric Heroff, Honors Specialization in Commercial Aviation Management, Flight.
Excellent, thank you very much. And like our other presenters, I'm very proud to be here to present this gold medal to Eric. Now, Eric's been recognized in a number of ceremonies, so he's heard a number of the comments I'm about to make before. But I think it's still very, very important to take a minute to share with this audience just a little bit of why he's been so recognized. I've known Eric for 2 years now. He was this year's Commercial Aviation Management Council President. That's our local student body. And in that role, he was the model of the strong, quiet leader. Eric has always been a strong contributor in the classroom. I remember several of us are taking us back to those what feel like dark days of fall 2020 when we were first teaching on full-time teaching on Zoom. But my positive memory of that time is always being able to count on Eric having his camera on. And as you've already heard, it makes such a difference to us teachers when our students are engaged like Eric was compared to talking to a screen of blank boxes. At that time and in subsequent courses, I could always count on Eric speaking up and showing others how to make respectful, insightful points that advance everyone's learning. I've appreciated the passion that Eric brings towards his own learning, finding ways to incorporate his own interests and connections, such as preparing his project in the airports course on an airport in Austria, and then bringing in photographs taken when he personally went to visit the airport in question. Eric is caring and empathetic towards others, always quick with a smile, even if we can't see it here today, and a quiet wit. He has been committed to excellence in his flight training, being not just very close to, but as I learned just before this ceremony began, having recently completed all of his licensing requirements and is a licensed commercial pilot. I also just learned that Eric's next stage is working with what I will call a major North American airline. However, I promise you cannot talk to him and get personal assistance with any issues at the airport these days. But I hope that the teaching and I know the learning that Eric's taken will allow him to make and I'm very, very confident he will make a solid contribution as our industry starts to recover and addresses some of those challenges. So, please join me in congratulating Eric in this recognition of the gold medal of his hard work, his leadership, and his academic achievements. Congratulations, Eric.
On behalf of Professor Bill Turkle, Professor Nandita Biswas-Melamfi, undergraduate chair in the Department of Political Science, will present the gold medal for honors specialization in international relations to Madison Riggin.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nandita Biswas-Melamfi, and I am undergraduate program chair in the Department of Political Science at Western, where I have taught for the past 16 years. Today, on this beautiful day, we gather to strengthen and celebrate our academic community. It is with pleasure and honor that I present a gold medal for international relations to Madison Riggin. A gold medal is awarded for highest achievement and symbolizes what is superlative and most sought after in academic study. Although gold is no longer the most valuable metal, it continues to be a powerful metaphor for what is most valued. The recipient of a gold medal is someone who is at the top of their game. And today, Madison, your hard work, skill, and dedication has earned you this rare and prestigious distinction. I wanted to share some thoughts from a professor who taught Madison, Bill Turkle, from the Department of History, who sent me some of his reflections about Madison's academic performance. He writes, "I'm delighted that Madison Riggin is the winner of the gold medal in international relations this year. Maddie has taken 3 courses with me, and she excelled in all of them. 2 of the courses involved extensive teamwork and peer evaluation. Maddie's leadership is evident in the fact that in over 10 assignments with randomly chosen teammates, she was consistently rated as one of the most valuable members of the team, and often as the most valuable. She was tied for 3rd place in the capstone course, Global Challenges in the Global Community, and her essay on UN conventions and gaps in disability rights protections played a fundamental role in the success of her team. Maddie has made the Dean's Honor List every year that she studied at Western. She won the Robert A.D. Ford Award in 2022, a UWO in-course scholarship in 2020, and the Western Scholarship of Distinction in 2018. Congratulations, Maddie. It's clear from Professor Turkle's words that you stood out here on Western campus and that you will continue to stand out off campus as you head into the exciting world out there. We wish you all the very best. Congratulations on your achievement.
Professor Paul Mintha of the Department of Psychology will present the R.B. Liddy Gold Medal for Psychology. This award was endowed in memory of R.B. Liddy, who was the head of the Department of Psychology between 1931 and 1945. The R.B. Liddy Gold Medal is awarded to Madeline Bloomberg. Madeline, for honors specialization in psychology.
Thank you. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce Madeline Bloomberg. Madeline is receiving the Gold Medal Award for her outstanding achievements as a psychology honor student. I've known Madeline for several years. She's been in 2 of my courses and has always been one of the very best students in the class. Her dedication to the field and practice of psychology is impressive, and she has a passion for understanding how psychology can help others. I also got to know Madeline pretty well, even though part of our academic year was online. The Psychology Club still held its regular Dinner with a Prof series, except we did it from our homes and apartments via Zoom instead of at the Wave, which meant that, although I missed my favorite standing buffalo chicken wrap at the Wave, we also got to have our pets join in the dinner, which was nice. Madeline then completed an honors thesis in my lab where she studied the relationship between autism spectrum and attentional deployment. Madeline will be traveling this summer and will continue her research in the fall with plans to attend and pursue clinical psychology after that. Congratulations, Madeline.
The gold medal for honors specialization in developmental cognitive neuroscience, BSc, is presented by Professor J. Bruce Morton of the Department of Psychology. The gold medal is awarded to Robin Wilford, and we'll hear a little bit more about Robin later, but let's present her with this award first.
It is a distinct pleasure to be here today and to present the gold medal in the developmental cognitive neuroscience to Robin. The developmental cognitive neuroscience program, honor specialization program, was developed about 15 years ago, and our interest was to establish a program of study so that we could have students capitalize on Western strength in the study of cognitive neuroscience, which is the study of the interface of the mind and the brain, and to approach this topic from a developmental standpoint, with an interest in studying how the relationship between mind and brain changes as children transition between infancy, childhood, adolescence, and adulthood. So it's a particularly challenging course of study because it's one that combines a depth of knowledge in the area of child psychology, a depth of knowledge in the area of neurophysiology, and mastery of data science, so the management of large data sets, statistical inference, and you can throw in computer coding as well. And when we developed the program, it was our hope, at least, to attract brilliant minds who could bring the program to life. And it's really a distinct pleasure for me to deliver this award to Robin, because Robin is exactly the kind of student that we had envisioned when we developed the program. And I'm really quite confident in saying she is really one of the most distinguished and brilliant graduates that we've had come through the program. So thank you, Robin, so much for everything that you've brought to this area of the department. And it's a terrific honor for me to present this award to you.
Professor Lauren Campbell, Undergraduate Chair of the Department of Psychology, will present the next two medals. The gold medal for honor specialization in psychology, BSc, goes to Michelle Lushavsky, and this year McKenna Seebach receives the gold medal for honors major in psychology.
I'm very happy to be here today to meet with all of you, family and the students as well, and receiving these wonderful awards. As you already heard a little bit about psychology, it's a very large discipline that covers a lot of ground, from studying human interpersonal interactions, studying those interactions in the workplace, studying neuropsychology, child development, right down to studying birds in a wind tunnel, which is something we do somewhere on campus over there. So we have a lot of students in the program, meaning that it's very competitive in many ways. So just to be here to receive these awards just shows it's the dedication you've had to your training, and that you really are standing out as the best of the best. What I have done is I asked some folks that knew you better than I do to say a few words, and I'm going to read what Dr. Ryan Stevenson had to say about Michelle. He said, Michelle has obviously been a fantastic student in the classroom, as the award indicates, but also extensively volunteered throughout her undergraduate career and was quite active in the scientific community at Western. She conducted her thesis exploring the sensory experiences of autistic children, which she'll be presenting in Stockholm, Sweden next year to the International Society for Autism Research. And luckily for us, Michelle will be returning to campus next year to start her graduate work in the clinical psychology program. I'm very excited to see what new discoveries she makes along the way. Congratulations, Michelle. And then the next award winner here is we have McKenna Seebach, and Dr. Alex Benson said a few words, and I'm just going to build on him a little bit after that. He wanted to say that he can share that you consistently offered positive contributions to the class discussions, and always found ways to elevate and build upon others' perspectives. McKenna is intellectually curious and has a sharp mind, which led to unique and insightful contributions to our class discussions on power and status in organizations. And just on the side from talking to Alex, and I'll just say this now, when you're an instructor in a classroom, it's always nice to have students speak up and contribute and answer questions. But what's really great is when you have students that speak up and contribute, but also kind of push the dialogue and make you even rethink what it is you're presenting, and to think more deeply about the material and engage in an intellectual discussion with those students. And that is something that is really, appealing and is wonderful to have in students. And we recognize that in students, and of course, recognizing that in you today. Congratulations.
Professor Rachel Margulis, undergraduate chair of the Department of Sociology, will present 3 gold medals in sociology. Jackie Tan will receive the gold medal for honors specialization in criminology. The gold medal for honors major in sociology goes to Asiwa Wazid, and McKenna Seabach is awarded a 2nd gold medal, this time for her performance in honors major in criminology.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my great pleasure as undergraduate chair of the Department of Sociology to present these 3 awards. You may know that the sociology department is a very popular department, so we have many, many students, and these 3 really stood out to all of the instructors. I got a huge amount of feedback about all of them when I asked about these students and their courses, and so it makes me very happy and proud to present them. First, Jackie Tan will get the award for honor specialization in criminology. This is one of our most popular modules, and students address key social issues in power and justice, sociology of the law, and social inequality. Jackie Tan has very strong research skills, and many professors commented on his ability to communicate sophisticated ideas clearly and effectively. He's been doing research on homelessness, precarious housing, and employment issues, employment inequality. And I understand that he will be pursuing these studies in a graduate program in sociology next year. In addition to this, he really has a strong commitment to community service, and this can be seen through his involvement in Western University's food bank, as well as WaterAid and school ambassadors to local schools around. So congratulations, Jackie. All right. Second, I have the award for Asia. Many of our colleagues noted how exceptional a student she is and her high level of engagement in courses, especially in the context of virtual learning. So many professors have said how much they count on her to move the discussion forward and really engage critically in key ideas. Many professors noted how much she stood out, and also her improvement throughout the term in the development of her ideas, moving from a little more quiet in the beginning to being very outspoken and showing leadership throughout the term. So congratulations. And last, we have the award for the honors major in criminology. You might have noticed that McKenna was just on the stage 5 minutes ago getting another award in psychology, so she's been doing a double major here. And I lost my notes. Sorry. My colleagues noted how she regularly showed up with a high degree of enthusiasm and preparedness. She worked extremely hard on her writing and communicating really complex ideas and delivering the highest marks in courses. You even got really exceptional feedback from one of our most difficult professors, Professor Schaefer, who sang your praises. And we hear that she's going to be attending law school in the fall, and we wish you the most congratulations.
Okay, now we turn to a major in the 4-year degree. The Western Gold Medal for the highest modular average in a 4-year major over all disciplines offered in the Faculty of Social Science will be presented by Professor Lauren Campbell, undergraduate chair in the Department of Psychology. And that gold medal is for a major in psychology, and that goes to Major Gill.
Well, it's great to be back. Now, I would like just to say, I'm going to focus in on just a couple of things here with Major. Major, you were a student in one of my classes. I remember that. We were online, and you know, of course, you've maintained, well, obviously, by getting this award, high grades across all your courses, including some of our more challenging ones like stats and methods and so on. But I wanted to again highlight here you had won an award for best research paper in a lab in one of your courses. And I just wanted to highlight that a little bit, just for those of you out there. In our field, the way we write papers is not in a way that is, one, exciting, or always easy to follow. And with, I'm joking a little bit, of course, but the method sections, or how we did what we did in explaining that, and then particularly our results, is actually very challenging to do and very technical and takes a lot of skill. And when as an instructor teaching a lot of these courses, we don't often see the first attempts at these papers being very, clear and enlightening. So when I say this, I truly mean it, that it's quite a feat to be able to write in those technical formats at this early stage in your career in order to get those sorts of awards in those challenging courses like research methods and stats and so on. So I wanted to commend you for that and for doing such a great job during your time here at Western, especially the past few years. So congratulations.
The next award goes to a specialization in a 4-year BMOS degree, and it's a gold medal for the highest modular average in a specialization in the BMOS program in the Faculty of Social Science, and will be presented by Professor Ruth Ann Strickland. This award this year goes to a specialization in accounting to Katerina Dmitrichenko.
Katrina, I am so proud of you. It is a privilege to be here today and to present this award to you based on your high accomplishments. Katrina was a student in one of the courses I taught in the fall. She had transferred to Western from Fanshawe College and was interested in accounting. Worked out well for me because she was also interested in Canadian income tax, and that's what I was teaching. I got to know Katrina well because she was always in class early. I'd walk in and she was already there, and unusually, she'd turn the light on. Or usually if students came in early, they just sat in the dark and waited. But Katrina, you walk in a room and you turn the light on. And I'm so proud of you. It's a little thing. It actually is a characteristic that she had in class. She helped enlighten things. And Katrina, I'm so proud of you. Now, at Christmas time, before the fall term ended, I was talking with Katrina, we're talking about what are you doing over the holiday, and she said, well, she's going to go visit her family. Girl things, get my nails done, have some mama food, and to spend time. And she went and she had a good time. Her family is in Ukraine. She went home. Spent time with her family. And when she came back for second semester, very shortly after she was back, her country was invaded. And all of our hearts stood still as we watch what's happening. But for Katrina, it was an exceptional challenge, wondering what is happening in her family. And yet she stood steady. And yet she applied herself to a discipline. And she excelled in all of her classes. Stacey Hand said in audit, you led teams, you added value by being a strong contributor. Another professor said, oh, you're a rock star. In fact, everybody wanted to present this award to you. I am so proud of you. And I know that your family is so proud of you. Next for Katrina, she's pursuing her accounting designation. She will become a CPA. She'll be working for Ernst & Young in the fall here in London, and I hope we will continue to be in touch. I've already tapped her shoulder to be a TA for me, so looking forward to that. Katrina, this award, I hope that you will always hold in your heart. You are a woman of strength. You are a woman of resilience. And I hope that this award will always remind you not only of your time here, but also of what you are leaving behind as you leave this institution. Katrina, I'm so proud of you.
Can we pause for this moment and actually congratulate all the gold medal winners? Okay, we have a few more awards. The next awards are the Chancellor's Prizes in Social Science. Madeline Hill, major in political science, is receiving the Chancellor's Prize for the highest average in social science bachelor program non-honors across the faculty. Professor Nandita Biswas-Malamfi, undergraduate chair in the Department of Political Science, will present to Madeline this Chancellor Prize. Nandita?
Hi again. Just to remind you, I'm Nandita Biswas-Malamfi, and I am very proud to present the Chancellor's Prize, one of them at least, to Madeline Hill. The Chancellor's Prize is given annually to an outstanding social science student graduating with an honors bachelor degree based on performance in the graduating year. One word that comes to mind when it comes to Maddie is passion. Passion for academics, passion for varsity sports, and passion for making Western a better place for students. Maddie's passion began in her very first year as a residence tour guide, helping students transition to Western campus. In her later years, this position led her to work closely with the offices of undergraduate recruitment and admissions, both as a campus tour guide and a student ambassador. She was also involved with the Leadership and Academic Mentorship Program and served as an upper year mentor to first-year scholars elective students. Pursuing her passion for leadership and mentorship roles, Maddie served as a resident soph in Elgin Hall, assisting countless first-year students with navigating university life at Western. Maddie is not only an outstanding student, having been admitted into the exclusive and prestigious Scholars Elective program at Western, but she was also a committed varsity athlete throughout her undergraduate career, serving as a member of Western's varsity ringette team since her freshman year, and this last season as co-captain of the team. Last March, her team claimed the provincial title, officially ranking Western as the top university ringette team in Ontario. As a Scholars Elective student this past year, she completed a research-intensive project under the supervision of Dr. Laura Stevenson in political science on the intersections between agricultural vote choice, sustainability, and agricultural lobby organizations. And I just wanted to share some of Dr. Stevenson's reflections about Maddie with you. She writes, Maddie was a delight to teach. Despite not having much background in electoral politics, Maddie was gung-ho to figure out how to look at census data and electoral returns. Her enthusiasm was contagious. I looked forward to all of our meetings and the side chats we'd get into. Her work was ambitious, polished, and detailed. Her ability to analyze and see patterns was excellent, and she completed her work for me and the rest of her courses while being on a winning ringette team, working as a residence advisor, and navigating a pandemic. Her complete delight in being able to get an undergrad degree before law school makes this award even more special. Best of luck, Maddie, she says. I know you'll do great things. So I should just say that in the fall, Maddie will be attending Western Law. And to prepare, she's been working as a summer student at a law firm near her hometown. When I asked Maddie to send me some of her thoughts on receiving the Chancellor's Prize, here's what she said, and I really wanted to share it with you because I thought it was just a great story. She says, I'm speaking for her, she's right here, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I am truly humbled by this award. She says, I didn't quite realize the gravity of it until the dean told me on the phone, there are only 2 awards and you've got one. So, as someone who didn't even know that they'd earned enough credits to graduate, thinking that she'd have to go to law school without a degree, she is very happy to be able to celebrate these past years. Indeed, you and your family have every right to be very proud today, Maddie, and we are delighted to be able to share in this pride with you. On behalf of Western, we wish you continued success at Western Law in the fall and beyond. And most of all, we wish you continued fun. Because if you can have fun in life doing the things you love to do, then you've already succeeded beyond measure. So congratulations.
Congratulations to Madeline on your exceptional accomplishments. So in addition to receiving the UWO Gold Medal for Honors Specialization in Developmental Cognitive Neuroscience, BSc, Robin Wilford is receiving a Chancellor's Prize for the highest achievement in an honors bachelor's program in the Faculty of Social Science. Professor J. Bruce Morton of the Department of Psychology will present Robin with this Chancellor's Prize.
Thank you, Dean. Again, what a pleasure it is for me to be here to award the Chancellor's Prize to Robin Wilford. Let me take a moment to talk a little bit about how I've known Robin and why I think she is certainly amongst the most deserving recipients of this distinguished prize. I got to know Robin when I was teaching my 3rd year research methods in developmental cognitive neuroscience course. A challenging course under normal circumstances insofar as we introduce students into analyzing fMRI data acquired from children, adolescents, and adults, and making use of computer scripts to do that, working with other students in groups to develop a research question and to test hypotheses on those data, and then to present everything together as a group to the other members of the class at the end of the term. So there are a number of different challenges, and Robin immediately emerged as a very, very distinguished student in the class, not only for her graceful mastery of advanced concepts, but her ability to lead other members of her group and to discern patterns in the data and to speak eloquently and clearly about the implications of her findings. And so it was a terrific pleasure and honor for me when Robin came forward at the end of the term and expressed an interest in working in my lab. And so we were successful in getting a federally funded research assistantship program for her to work in my lab. And we had a set of data that we had acquired in China. It was an fMRI set of data. And we had administered a task to participants while they were in a scanner that was stereotyped. So every participant received the same paradigm, the same set of events. And so what Robin was able to do with the data, which is exceptionally advanced, she reasoned that, well, if everybody saw exactly the same set of events, we could look at patterned brain responses to those events and look at similarities in the brain response to those events and see whether or not the similarities amongst the subject's brain response to those events would be predictive of similarities in the participants' personality characteristics. And I thought, well, that's a very innovative idea, Robin, but how are you ever going to measure and test all that? She said, well, no, don't worry, Professor Morton, I'll write the code and do it myself. So I said, well, that's very adventurous, go for it. And I was thinking, well, we've got 4 months, let's see how far this gets. And in about 6 weeks, Robin came back and said, well, I think I've got most of it done now. I said, really? And she said, yes, well, look, I have some preliminary results. And I was looking at this thinking, my gosh, this is an analysis that most advanced PhD students would really struggle with. And here was an undergraduate intern who had done this in a matter of 6 weeks. I was absolutely gobsmacked. And so, again, this is a level of scholarship that I think is really, really unique to Robin. And I think the Chancellor's Prize is very, very, very well deserved, and in that respect. And I'm also very happy to add to this that Robin is going to continue to pursue her interest in experimental psychology at the University of Toronto this coming September. She is going straight into the PhD program, which I think, again, is most appropriate because that is indeed the level at which she functions intellectually. You know, Robin being Robin, she said to me when she came to the lab to do a presentation recently, she said to me, listen, I've already talked to my supervisor, and apparently it's okay if I remain involved in other research projects. So if it's okay with your permission, I would like to stay involved in this research project in perpetuity. And I said to her, that's the best news I've heard in a long time. So, Robin, the comments that I make today have been echoed by colleagues throughout the university, your supervisor, Dr. Michael Anderson, colleagues of mine in the developmental area in psychology. There is unanimous agreement that you are the, you know, indeed the most deserving of this prize. And so it's such an honor for me to be the one to deliver this on behalf of the department and of the Faculty of Social Science. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Robin, on your outstanding accomplishments. Before we conclude our awards ceremony, I have a few comments and announcements to make. If there's one thing a social science degree and a social science background tells us is that relationships matter. And I'd actually like to thank the parents, the friends, the family who've helped support these incredible individual achievements over the last numbers of years. And personally, if I can speak on behalf of the professors here, who I'm sure had great joy in teaching these exceptional students, I want to thank them. It convinced me that Western was the right place for me to come, and the exceptional work that they've done on behalf of these students. So after this ceremony, I'd like to invite you all to come to an informal reception down in the atrium in the hall. Before doing so, I want to acknowledge and show my appreciation to those in my office who have spent so much time behind the scenes preparing for this ceremony and making sure that it would run smoothly. They are Joan Finnegan, Trish Rieger, Kelly Callahan, Teresa Clark, Maureen O'Connell, Nicole Harding, Jennifer Atkins, Eliza Evitz, Ellie Pakulis, Ann Seabrook, and I'd also like to thank Rob Rombots for documenting the ceremony in photos and on film. So please join me in thanking them. And again, one last applause for the exceptional students we've had here today. So please join us down the hall for a reception in the atrium. Thank you.